Welcome to DeRosa Insiders Live. I am not Matt Faircloth. I'm Justin Fraser. Very excited to fill in for Matt today. Today we are covering all things property management. It is a property management takeover today. I have the DeRosa Living crew here with me. We are going to get into all things property management. I cannot wait. With that, I want to bring in, first off, Miss Tara Smiley. Tara, come on in. Tara, how are you? Welcome to the party.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great to have you here. I'm going to, without any further ado, bring up Amy. And Amy, come on up and join us. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Welcome to the party. How you doing today?
I'm good.
We're so happy to have you today. Guys, this is Amy's first time joining us on DeRosa Insiders. We just bought a property. We just closed on a property a couple of weeks ago, as you guys both know. We bought our property and big celebration, right? We all know, pop the champagne. And to some people on the team, like, job is done, right? we found the deal. We raised the money. You know, the rest of our team gets to go and hunt for the next. Good for them. But we know for our team, we're just getting started, right? We're really just kicking the show off here. So I really want to dig in on what happens really from the time a deal gets under contract. We can talk about due diligence a little bit, but then really after closing, because I know we've talked about, done some deep dives on due diligence. I think even the last time I did a takeover, it was about due diligence for that property. But what happens after takeover, right? So we've taken over this property. We get the keys, right? Someone gives us keys at some point. And then what do? We open the doors? I don't know, right? So what do we do when we get the keys? What happens? And does the money just roll in and we sit back? So let's sort of dig in, right? So day one, right? The papers get signed. You know, me and Matt and Hervé, we do our notary stuff. It all gets signed. We get a notice, hey, officially, titles clear, we close, checks been wired, money's been wired, hooray.
Here you go, DeRosa Living.
Here you go, DeRosa Living. I shoot Tara a text, hey,
here's
officially
baby.
Closed. Ta-da, we're done. I'm going to the beach, right? I got a margarita waiting for me, right? So we can all sit back and relax. But that, I believe, is not the case for you guys. So tell me what happens when I say, hey, money's been wired. Let's start there. What do we do next?
So, I mean, the reality is at that point, you have officially passed the ball for us to pick up, carry, and run with. And that is exactly what our job is.
Yeah.
So the reality to that question is that process started way before closing has happened, right? And so when you're preparing for an onboarding and a disposition, you've got staff like Amy and myself and Adam who have been building for months to bring this property into the fold and into the portfolio for an operating system basis. We've planned for the vendor needs that this property is going to have, resident modes of communication, right? Payment options for our resident base, and all the fun itty bitty things that go into it. Amy, for you were really the primary driver in this last disposition because I was out. So, you know, what was kind of your step 1 through 5? Like what was that first 2 weeks like for you?
The first 2 weeks is just making sure I had all the data. You've got to have every last bit of information that the previous owners are able to provide for you, whether it's the leases, current vendors that they're using, anything that is going to help make sure that for the residents that are on site, the transition is as seamless as possible. And then making sure that everything that we've got matches everything that we started with. Big one is also going there once you've gotten the keys and walking through and making sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be and there's not anything that needs to be communicated to the new owners immediately.
Correct. So it's really like it's an immediate needs assessment, Justin. It is all of the back work and preparation for that asset to come into the fold. It's a communication with the residents because that's the other key thing that the property management company needs to be very, very proactive about is getting communication to the residents because when, you know, they don't know all the backstory and all the things that are going on. People that have rented for a while, they may see, the troves of people kind of walking around in pockets and go, yeah, something's going on, right? But you've got to be able to tell them, hey, the property's sold. It doesn't necessarily matter for the residents who the new owners are, but you got to tell them this is where your money is. We have it. Don't worry, right? And here's the new people that are going to be managing your home, because that's very important. Giving them, one, a name and a face to go with, as well as contact methods. And so encourage them to reach out, like if you have any questions. And so the reality is, for the first 2 weeks, Amy was handling resident needs hand over fist. We've hit a month of ownership, and those things have segued down in volume, but every once in a while, your residents just need that reassurance through that transition. So it's a key item for sure.
So, Amy, what kind of requests are they having? Is it like my thing is broken, or is it like I don't know where to send my rent? Like, what are the questions that they're having for you when we take over?
The first one is, where's my security deposit? Do you guys have my security deposit? That's the first one that gets asked the most often. And good property management company, that's not an issue. You just assure them that, yes, what you have, we have it, it's fine. The next one is, how do I pay my rent? Can I drop my rent check off? Is there a portal? Is my rent going to change? I'm up for renewal, or, I've told them I'm going to move out. Do you have that handled? And then, what is going to change as far as like our maintenance needs? Who do we call for maintenance? What are we doing here? And those are probably the big 5 questions that you'll get asked when management changes over.
So a little bit of reassurance, making sure that we have their documentation, making sure that we understand, yes, we have your lease. Yes, we have your security deposit. A little bit of reassurance there that we're all good there. Mm-hmm. So that's all good.
On the flip side of that, it's also providing accountability and expectations, right? Yeah. So it's, despite the transition, the rules of your lease
have not changed.
The same, right? Like, just because there's a substitute teacher or a new sheriff, it doesn't matter. Rules are still the same. This is when rent's due. This is how you pay it. This is what counts as an emergency. Don't be thinking like I need a new light bulb suddenly counts differently now, right? And so communicating the expectations very clearly to them to maintain that level of stability.
So how are they getting that communication from us?
From us, it's via emails and phone calls.
So was there a notice posted on the door at some point as well?
Yes. So as soon as we had received the keys, a notice was hung on each resident's door to let them know of the management changeover, to let them know that we did have their security deposits, to let them know what the portal was, how to contact us, how to provide us any information. We also left them a notice on, let us know, which car is yours. Let us know what your emergency contact information is, things like that. And so we made sure that each resident had all the information they needed to contact us within 10 minutes of after us getting the keys.
Excellent. So you picked up the keys, you had those notices ready to go, and now they can communicate with you through email or phone.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And then we're set up for online rent collection. They can all pay us electronically. They have questions, we answer them, and all of that. So it's not so many work orders necessarily, but just mostly questions to make sure that, and every property is going to be different, right? This is a newer build property, so we weren't expecting too many work orders anyway, based on our due diligence, which is great. That's good, because that's always a concern. You always a concern of like, oh, we're going to buy this thing, and there's going to be a backlog of hidden work orders that we weren't expecting or whatever else. But we weren't too concerned about that with this property anyway.
The resident dynamics may change across different properties and portfolios, but the one thing that remains the same is that you're always going to have that resident need for PM visibility and contact ability, right? Like, give them your name, give them your face, give them a way to communicate with you in an effective manner that's reassuring and supportive, while still getting you on the PM side what you need out of that resident, out of that interaction.